Hello, so today I would like to share two thoughts from the story of the snake on the pole. That's what it's called. So the people had to go on a detour because of, I think it was the Edomites. They wouldn't let Israel pass through, so the Israelites had to go around, and the people got very discouraged and probably sick of traveling, and they were also sick of eating manna every day. And it says, the people spake against God and against Moses, wherefore have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. And then God sent snakes as a consequence or a punishment. But it just struck me how they're complaining about manna, and yet every day manna was a miracle from God. It was free food that God provided for all of the Israelites every day for 40 years or longer, however long it was that they were in the wilderness for, and yet they complain about it. And it just made me think that we can be just the same. We can lose the awe of what God has done for us, and we can even complain about what God has done for us. Maybe miracles, or maybe just things. They may not be specifically miracles, but the things that God has given to us, or things that God has done for us that are special, and yet we can complain about it, and that's because it is hard. Like, there's nothing wrong with the Israelites finding it hard to have to eat manna every day, or to find it hard that they had to travel a lot. And yes, what they did when they were finding it hard, that was wrong. And I asked the kids at school, how could they have reacted rightly? What could they have done that was right? And one of the children said they could have prayed to God, and maybe God would have given them something different to eat if they had prayed about it rather than just complaining and speaking against God. And if they'd have thanked God for all that He was doing for them every day, then maybe they would have got something different to eat, or maybe God would have helped them to be content with what they had. I think for us sometimes we can complain about things that God has actually done for us, and then that's because it is hard. Sometimes things God does for us can actually be hard. And it's the same with Moses. It was a miracle that they got out of Egypt. It was a miracle that Moses was able to lead the Israelites. And yet it was hard. And so many times Moses did go to God when he was finding it hard, and God helped him. So it's just a reminder for us to, when we're finding something difficult, to go to God and pray about it and ask for help and to give thanks, rather than just complaining and moaning about it, or even speaking against God like what the people did. Why do I have this problem? Why? We need to pray about it in the right way, and ask God for help, and remember to thank God for the miracles and the special things God has done for us. So for example, the little haven, so like a drop-in center in town that we have, that really is a miracle when we think back to how it started. I remember Johanna saying to me once, if I get that building, it will be a miracle, because it seems so impossible. And here we have it, and we have used it every week for, 5 years. And it's easy to forget that it is a miracle, and it's easy to even sometimes complain, or, if it's a lot of work, or you get sick of doing it. If we find it hard, we should ask God for help, not just complain about it. And we've got to remember that it is a miracle, and to thank God. I read a quote somewhere that when you count your blessings, your blessings bless you again. So when you're thinking about them, then it kind of blesses you again. So what miracles has God done for you? What has God given you that may be difficult? And it can be the same with being able to have children, or like for me, all the different opportunities God has given me. It is amazing, and it is a real blessing, and yet it can be real hard too. Even just teaching the Bible at school, for me, it takes a lot of self-discipline to constantly learn the stories well enough so that I can teach them. It can be hard, and yet it's a blessing. It's something that God has given to me. So instead of complaining when it feels too much, I need to pray, ask God for help and for strength, and thank Him for the opportunity that He has given and the privilege that He has given to me. And one other thought, which probably sounds a little bit silly, but I was reading a picture book once, and something just really struck me. And then it's like, well, yeah, of course that's true, but I just hadn't really thought about it before. It was a picture book about animals, and it was all different animals, and they each had their own thing that they were good at doing. And one of them, or maybe it was the elephant, I don't know. One of them was really strong, and it said he was lifting weights to help him get more strong. And I know that's just a common sense thing that people lift weights to make themselves more stronger, but it just really struck me. I never thought about how you get more stronger by lifting weights. And I thought that's kind of, you know, for us, we want to be strong, and yet God can make us strong by giving us heavy things to carry. I never really thought about that before. You kind of think if you want to be strong, you need to not have, no, it feels like heavy things make you weak, and yet heavy things can make us stronger. So for me, that was an interesting thought. So we don't need to complain about the things that we have that may feel heavy or may sometimes feel too much. We can pray about them, and through them, God can make us stronger, and He can give us the strength